KC defense proved to be. No, you're just idiot if you think that. The KC.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Targeting Podcast. We got Mikey Silva here today. Silva, how we doing?
I'm chilling. I'm good. How you boys doing?
We're doing well. Welcome to the pod.
Wonderful.
Absolutely great, man. Let's get it.
So we brought Silva in, the NFL expert, because we had a bunch of games this weekend. We want to talk about it with him. So, boys, where do we want to start this weekend?
I say I personally.
Do we want to do the games in order?
We can do them in order. I was going to say, let's just go right ahead with Saturday's games. Let's just go right to.
We can do them in order.
Let's just go right to.
So the first one was Rams-Packers.
Yeah, let's just go right there. Packers. And let me just say, I think I hit it right on the nail. Packers just absolutely rolling their offense. The Rams defense again, for me, definitely tried. I think once I saw Ramsey get absolutely beat, I was just like that. Like he can't cover. Like Devontae, he can't cover.
Aaron Donald played though. Aaron Donald ended up playing.
Here's the thing though. No. For me, no, he didn't play.
Yeah, he was a punk.
You know what? I don't care if you tore your rib or whatever the cartilage is that he was talking about. Look, you are the guy that controls that defense, and you not being out there really hurts that defensive line. And I said it last pod. I said, if Aaron Donald's not out there, Aaron Rodgers has got to be great. And if Aaron Donald's out there, I still think Aaron Rodgers is going to be good. And I was correct. Even when Aaron Donald was out there, the offensive line, unbelievable. He didn't touch Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't get sacked once. Aaron Rodgers sat in that pocket and just played his game. And they ran that ball.
Yeah, they were running the whole game.
All their running backs.
Their O-line is so good. I think the Packers – I like the Packers to win the NFC, honestly. They are really good.
The thing with the Rams, it's not even their defense is good. Their offense is horrible.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, it wasn't really their defense that game. It was the offense. They couldn't produce.
You also didn't have Kupp in. You didn't have Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, but even then, with Cooper Kupp, all they do is play action rollouts. He rolls out to the left, and he dumps the ball off to Higbee or Woods crossing across the middle. And then even then, if you just sit in the zone, you can't.
Again, it was a very offensive Packers game and a defensive Rams game. But even the defense couldn't do much when the offense does nothing.
But here's the thing. I thought the Rams defense, for the most part, held up pretty well. Like, I thought they gave at least a fighting chance for the offense.
No, they did. They did the first quarter or two, but then next half, when the offense hasn't put out any energy, and Aaron Donald's got to sit out a couple of snaps because he's probably hurting on the inside or whatever. And Ramsey's getting all butthurt because Devontae just keeps running routes that he can't even cover.
Did you see that?
You're not going to be able to do anything. And then they run up the middle. They run up the gut with Williams or fucking Aaron Jones or who's the other guy? Dillon?
The kid from BC.
You don't know which running back they're going to use. And when they finally put him out there, and I think they caught the Rams defense off guard on one snap, and they just ran it. You can't.
The thing is, I think Aaron Rodgers. This might piss a lot of people off, but Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFC right now.
I agree with that.
He's the second best quarterback in the league behind Mahomes.
I'm going to agree with you because I've said before. I said last pod, I said I'm going to go with the Saints, and if I didn't, then I'm going to say it. But this is what I meant. I went with the Saints because I thought Drew Brees would play his heart out because arguably it may be his last season or last couple seasons, and shout out to him. And I do think he played it out. I think the 3 interceptions, I can't blame him for all of them, but some of them just bad throws, just miscommunications.
Some of them were bad throws. The other one
just miscommunications on routes, Kamara not finishing his route. And at the end of the day, Tom was the better QB. But overall, looking at the NFC, I will agree with Silva. Aaron Rodgers has been consistent all season. Like, Drew was smacking Tom around. I talked to Jerry about this. Tom's been acting like a little baby.
I agree with that
all season.
I've been wanting to say
all
that
season.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
But Silva, was this outcome surprising to you? Did you think the Rams were going to pull it out? Or
I knew the Packers were going to win this game heavy. First of all, I bet on the game. Fucking spread hit. Second, I just can't wrap myself around the fact that people think Jared Goff is a good quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. He's very soft. He's been like this since he was at Cal. He just can't. All he can do, he's a system quarterback. If he wasn't in McVay's system, he would not be a good quarterback. He'd be backup or third.
Yeah, and if Sean McVay had a better quarterback to work with,
Yeah,
the ceiling on that team would be crazy. So, yeah, I agree with you, actually.
he's a system quarterback. All he can really do, granted, his thumb's broken and he just had surgery, so that's one thing. But
Yeah, true.
him
He makes some good throws.
action passes is just ridiculous.
He made some good throws with the broken thumb.
Yeah, I
will give him that. I think he played the only game he could have played, which was just doing whatever he could to just run the ball in short passes. And
yeah,
I mean, he wasn't going to bomb it downfield. I mean, plus the Packers defense, I think, wasn't really the star of the show because the offense really took the game away. But the defense still held up.
They're underrated. I agree with that.
Definitely.
So,
all right, well, we can move on to next Saturday's game. So, Ravens Bills. So
I said it.
I love Bills. I love the mob. Bills Mafia. I love them.
So
yeah, for real.
I was kind of hoping this would have been a closer game, and I feel like it was up until a certain point. Up until they got the pick, the Bills got the pick six. Was this game surprising you? And what do you see the Bills doing in the future? I'll go around the horn. So Silva, since you're our guest, you can start.
So I did not. I knew Lamar Jackson was going to have a good game because of the secondary the Bills have. Because the system they run, a lot of their cornerbacks will come up and tackle. Like Micah Hyde will come up and tackle, Tre'Davious White here and there, and then you got Jordan Poyer. He'll come up and stick them. So that didn't shock me. Also, the Ravens are just very overrated. I've been saying they're like a Jekyll and Hyde team. You just don't know what you're going to get out of them. Like, look what they did against the Patriots. Nothing. Then you look at teams like, I forget who they played, but they like the Titans or something. They ran all over them.
Yeah.
The thing with Lamar Jackson, I'm going to say he's a running back. He's not a quarterback. I do not.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback. He's a running back. He doesn't throw the ball good. And when Tyler Huntley came into the game, he threw the ball relatively well besides that one overthrow. The two overthrows.
I know that overthrow was painful to watch.
Yeah, it was bad. He should have made that, but all in all, he wasn't bad considering he just had to come into the game, and he's the fourth string quarterback behind me.
I agree. I felt bad for the kid. He wasn't ready for that moment, and he played pretty well with the exception of that overthrow. That was a bad play because Marquise Brown would have been running all the way into the end zone on that play for sure. But
I mean, it's similar to
he played pretty well.
Similar to Heine just absolutely missing Tyreek Hill's absolute wide open route.
I have some things we can get to that.
We'll get to that.
We're talking about this game. You're saying what can the Bills do? It depends on if Mahomes is playing next week.
That's a big thing.
Here's my thing with the Bills. I think we predicted they would win. I didn't think it was going to be as widespread of a margin. I thought it was going to be a one possession game. I didn't expect Lamar to get injured. I didn't expect Lamar to go out with a concussion. I mean, you got two stellar quarterbacks in the AFC going out with concussions now. So that I'm kind of glad the Ravens didn't win because that would have been interesting if Ravens and Mahomes, Lamar and Mahomes was out.
Yeah,
I want to watch, Heine and Huntley going at each other. But I think I would just fucking turn the TV off. But the Bills just, again, like I'm going to reiterate what Silva said. Their secondary played the game because when you can't throw the ball, and Lamar doesn't throw it that much, but when he does, he usually hits somebody. But when you can't throw the ball and now Lamar has to run, Lamar got out the gate a couple times and they got some good running game on the ground. But eventually you're just gonna predict that. You're just gonna lock him in. And that's what happened when he got injured. They locked him down. He couldn't pass it, he couldn't get out, and they just sacked him. There's nowhere to go.
Spy on him. That's what most teams are doing now. They put a spy on him, and they put the fastest safety or the fastest linebacker on him if they can catch up with them. And the thing is, you can only run for so long with Lamar Jackson. Like, he's going to get hurt, obviously. He's a frail kid. Like, he's not.
Yeah.
You're going to get tired, too. That's another thing.
Tired. I think his motor's good, though. He's not going to get
tired. You're the
one
player that's taken arguably some of the most you're taking the most snaps in that game. Yeah. Wide receivers are coming in.
I agree with Silva on that. Sooner or later, teams are going to figure out that all you need to do is guard kind of like the guys out of the gate.
You just play his zone.
Once he doesn't see like an option or a wide receiver open, his mind is going to run. Like he's going.
He's fucking in and run. I agree with that completely.
So I just think that Silva's right. Where if you just put a spy on him, all you have to really do is guard him I'm talking about the wide receivers for 5 seconds because he's not going to hang in the pocket. He's just going to freaking run and gun. And then once you got a spy there, there's really no offense there getting. So I think I was expecting the Bills to win this game just because I like Josh Allen and I like the Bills defense.
I'm a big Josh Allen guy.
I'm a big Josh Allen guy. I think he's a good QB and I think he's got a huge upside in the league.
I want to see that Mahomes versus Allen matchup. I really hope Mahomes is playing.
Another thing you forget, though, is just that you're going to have two of the biggest fan bases going at each other, KC and Bills Mafia. That's another thing. Letting fans into the stadium, I think, really shifted momentum, too, for the Bills. The Bills just fuel themselves off of that crowd. And when I saw the video of the crowd going in, even if it was 6,000 people, those guys were all dressed up, all face paint, every single person. Child, women, everybody. And that just fuels them. That's just what the Bills are based around. And when you're going against a team who, they are overrated, but still, if you don't play them well enough, like the Titans didn't, they're going to run you over if they get their defense in order, and Lamar just keeps running the ball. So I think the Bills played their best game. I think they definitely lucked out with Lamar getting injured. But
they also lucked out on that pick six.
Yeah, they did look out on that.
That was just a bad
so
throw.
it would have been a closer game, in my opinion. But now I think the better team did win. But we're going into a tough game for them. And I don't know if Mahomes is coming back, what's going on with that. And that's going to really change it.
So we'll lead into that.
If we want to move into that game, I have a very strong point I need to make. I don't know how, if you're the Browns, I don't know how you punt that ball away with 4 minutes left. I don't know how you do that. I know it was 4th and 9, and that's a long conversion to make. You just can't lose yards at the beginning, and they have to use their timeout on first down.
Yeah, that
timeout. And they're losing yards on that play, and they have to lose a timeout on that horrible challenge.
Can I just say,
here's what I'll say about that.
Here's what I'll say about that.
Whoa. Here's what I'll say about that. Okay, Justin, that 4th down wasn't like a 4th and 1 like the previous play was.
I know it wasn't.
No, I know, but you gotta go for it.
If they did not get that that conversion, Chiefs were going to get a score something, whether it was a field goal.
But Jerry, if they punted it off, we saw that KC still held the ball for the whole entire fucking time.
So here, I'm going to back up Jerry on this. I'm going to back up Jerry. This is what Kevin Stefanski's reasoning was. It was 4th and 9. They just got stopped on 3 plays consecutive in a row. Mahomes is out of the game. Keep in mind, Mahomes is already in the locker room. You got Hennessy coming in right now, Chad Hennessy, whatever his name is, coming into the game. He's been in the league 14 years, and he's been mush. He hasn't completed a playoff pass. I think he was thinking they were just going to run it 3 times. If they got the first down, good. Then call timeout and then get the ball back with like a minute 20. That's what.
So here's what. Yeah, I agree.
I know what he's trying to do.
Here's what I think he was trying to do. Chad Henne, he knew he wasn't going to try to pass it. Like no one thought he was going to try to pass it. So he was just going to try to run it. So all you have to do there, you bring in Myles Garrett for a play. You get a 3 and out. They still have 1 timeout, including the 2-minute warning. Yeah. So if you saw that drive, they were not getting anywhere. Like the run game,
I'm not
making plays.
Jerry,
so
their best opportunity
was to punt and try to get it again.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm going to back up Justin here because I think you guys are forgetting one vital thing is no matter who the quarterback is, if you just run a screen play and you give it Tyreek or Hartman, which a couple of those throws that Hennessy, whatever the fuck his name is, he threw short under the gun passes, and then Tyreek took off for the first down. The number of times that man juked out the defense, the Browns defense completely, in my opinion.
The fastest player in the league.
We'll get in that too. Here's what I'm saying.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying that there was really no way the Browns was. There was really no way, unless the Browns defense stepped up, that they were going to win.
I'll say this to you too. If Mahomes was in the game, you bet your ass, Browns would have never had a shot. That 3rd and 4th, all the sacks that happened on that play, all the kind of they might get the ball back, never would have happened.
You'd go for
at that point, you would either need a score or the game's over.
Yeah. I know. I get that, and I obviously understand the reasoning, but I don't agree with the call only having 1 timeout. If you have 2 timeouts, if you have 3, if you even have 2, I would say I agree. But with just 1 timeout, that's not enough. I know you still have the 2-minute warning. That's not enough. It's not enough with 4 minutes left.
It was 4.5 minutes. It wasn't like it was 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
But
it doesn't matter. 1 first down, you can still run out the clock.
Yeah.
You have to look at
Jerry. The thing
first down, you can still run out the clock.
Jerry,
you can't put the ball away at the 50-yard line.
Jerry, even with Hennessy on fucking QB, even with him on QB. No, listen to me.
Okay.
That Browns defense sucked that game.
They weren't as bad.
They weren't
No,
that bad.
For me, they were not. They did not play the way. I mean, I know I said it before. KC was going to win that game because they were better. But the Browns defense let up a lot of easy tackles. They didn't finish their tackles. They didn't finish their runs chasing down players. And for me, I was not confident in that. If I'm the coach, I'm not confident in my defense even stopping him from just throwing a check down pass to Tyreek or Hartman and them getting a first down and not having enough time to get the ball back. So I would have gone for a 4th and 9.
I think it also had to do with, like, they didn't have a lot of pass rush because Myles Garrett wasn't 100%. So I think if they had a little
more, kind of being a dog that game.
Even Myles Garrett, when Myles Garrett was out there, he's still the KC just
Myles Garrett sacked him and they got a 3rd and 14. And
yeah, I know, but even with Myles Garrett, he was out there and he wasn't out there. He just wasn't the same. Even after the whole COVID thing, they said it on the news thing.
Yeah, they
got one sack, but he just hasn't been the same. He hasn't.
Can I say one thing quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Andy Reid is the stupidest fucking coach in the league. I just need to say that right now. That call was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a terrible, terrible play call.
Everyone's
saying it worked out, so he looks like a hero.
But he sucks. He's a fat fuck that doesn't know how to coach. He was the same way with the Eagles. He fucked up in that Super Bowl against the Pats. I actually hope to God Josh Allen just makes him look like a fat slob on Sunday.
Can I just tell you, I'm rooting against KC in this instance. For me, again, Jared, I do think the Browns played a very good game. I think KC losing Mahomes and just not capitalizing on some of the big plays that the Browns did make was tough. But I think overall the Browns really again, it was really on big, interceptions. And then I feel bad. It wasn't his fault, but the Higgins play, the head-to-head contact, that's just bullshit.
Yeah,
that's just a tough thing. But at the end of the day, you have to forget that. And I know you're losing momentum, but you got to remember you're still in the game and Mahomes is out now. And the defense, even with Myles Garrett in and out of the game, he came in and out on certain snaps. He did not play his best game.
I thought the Browns played relatively not that bad at the end, except for letting Henny get to the freaking
letting Henny scramble like that was
because
it just can't happen. When you had can't happen. 3rd and 14.
Okay, when they got the 3rd and 20, and then he runs and scrambles for that. That's the problem that I had with the whole game is when they keep scrambling, and you're not having any guy covering him. Even if it's Henny, you got to have someone covering him.
I thought the first down was worse.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead, Silva.
I thought the first down was worse. When the back came out of the backfield and they didn't have a linebacker on him when they were tripling Tyreek Hill. I thought that was even worse because he was jogging out the backfield, and then when he realized he had some open space, he finally kicked in the gears. If Goodson 93 just booked it from the beginning, it's a 4th down. They would have got the ball. They would have punted and got the ball back.
Yeah, true.
I think it was a closer game than we thought, and I was glad it was a close game. I was happy with it.
Yeah. For Steelers comments all last week, I'm glad it was at least close.
Yeah, can I just say that? Oh, yeah, let me just mention that. First of all, I got a couple things of what the fuck to mention, all right? Just quick, what the fuck? First of all, the head-to-head contact, I get it, though. Refs are going to miss it, especially when it's a fumble in the end zone, and also you're going for the pylon. It's easy to miss. Second of all, Claypool. You say they're going to get clapped, and that it doesn't matter that you lost. You are getting so poisoned by that franchise. You need to get the fuck out of there because you have so much potential and you need to shut the fuck up because they just almost beat the best team in the league and you lost to arguably a team that you should have clapped yourself. So shut the fuck up, go home, be quiet, suck in your mom's whatever, and just be fucking Christ almighty. The guy, what is wrong with the Steelers? They're such sore losers, though.
It's because of Juju. It's because he spent some time out in LA with FaZe, and now Claypool wants to get in that. They're just a bunch of they're literally pansies. I hate the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger, no shit to him. He's not bad, but he's also like
he's a baby too. No, he's a big baby. He's
a big baby. He's also like
you can't even admit you got beat by a better team. You just can't admit that.
Like, Juju and Chase Claypool need to be exterminated from the league.
They got to be split up. They have to be split up.
They are cancer to that organization. They should trade one of those two. I would take Claypool on the Pats any day of the week if he would just shut the fuck up.
My whole thing was Roethlisberger is a veteran, so I didn't really blame him for anything. But I was like, dude, if two of my players are acting like that when we got a real shot at winning shit,
It's
You
Tomlin.
gotta kind of speak
Tomlin.
up. You gotta
It's your
speak
coach.
He
up.
doesn't have the locker room. He doesn't have the locker room.
It's your coach at the end of the day. Your coach instigates the whole thing. He agrees with them. I guarantee you he's all buddy-buddy with every one of them. He's probably
Tomlin loves it.
Tomlin's probably doing
Tomlin
TikTok
loves it.
dances with Juju in the
Tomlin
showers,
loves
for
it.
Christ's sakes.
Yeah, him and Tomlin are dice rolling and shit.
Let me just say, and I know people will say, Steelers fans especially are going to say, oh, you don't know this. No, I do know for a fact that the Steelers played that game against KC, even with Mahomes was out, they would have got absolutely butthurt. Absolutely butthurt. They wouldn't have scored one single touchdown.
I think.
No, I don't think the Steelers.
I don't
are that
know.
good. I don't.
I
think
think if Henny was like in the game, like if they were in a similar situation than the Browns, I think they could have capitalized.
I don't think they could have.
I think I agree with John here because also Kansas City's defense isn't bad. Tyrann Mathieu, beast. Chris Jones, beast.
Again, we've
Rashad
seen
Breeland.
I agree with you two as well. I don't think they would have.
The Steelers' offense has sucked against the Washington football team. The Bengals.
Bad. He's pretty good.
When you choke against the worst teams in the league, how can you say you're going to absolutely roll over?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying necessarily that in the entire game they would have, but I'm saying if they were in a similar situation,
they could have had a chance. Jerry, I agree with you. They could have had a chance if Henny was in the game, but they wouldn't have won. They wouldn't have gotten anything. The KC defense proved to be. No, you're just idiot if you think that. The KC defense.
I'm saying. Wait, just listen to me. I'm saying if they're in the similar situation with 4.5 minutes, right, and they punt the ball,
it wouldn't be the same score though. It wouldn't have been the same score.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if they're in a similar situation that the Chiefs were, 17-22, 4.5 minutes to go, and they need to get a stop, I'm trusting.
They still would have lost.
So you're just saying you like Pittsburgh's D better than the Browns D in that situation? I mean,
in that situation,
the Steelers D is very, very good, but who knows?
I
don't think the Steelers. I would not take
Henny as QB.
Yeah, but we've seen the Steelers choke up. We've seen them choke up. What's to make it different? I mean, you're playing a quarterback who's never seen any snaps, but you're also playing against teams that don't have anything on like that much. I mean, what?
Well, let me ask you something, John. How many of those touchdowns, right? Like, did the Steelers offense help the Browns get? A majority.
Okay.
2-3.
Fair enough. But that just goes. But fair enough. But my whole entire thing here for the Steelers is that their whole team is overrated. The whole thing, it goes down again to I don't think Mike Tomlin's going to make the right call at the end of the day. And you seem to have very high confidence in Mike Tomlin as a coach. I don't. I
agree with John here.
I don't like Mike Tomlin. I never have, and I think Mike Tomlin needs to leave that organization if they have any chance of winning a ring.
Fair enough. All right, we'll move on to Bucs Saints. So we talked about this a little bit.
Pretty surprisingly, both quarterbacks' numbers didn't look that good. I sort of had a hunch that this was going to be one of those both of them over 400 passing yards and 3 touchdowns each or something like that. But it wasn't that type of game.
It was a back and forth game, but I think at the end of the day, what we forget is that these are two aging guys. I think this season of all seasons, we've seen Tom's age coming out.
I think Tom can still sling it though.
No, I'm not saying he can't. Here, Silva, I think you've heard me say it before. I'm not saying he can't, but again, I'm going to say it again because I feel like it's so important to say. It goes back to Bruce Arians. It goes back to not letting Tom make.
Bruce Arians is the second stupidest coach in the league. I agree with that.
You go back to not letting Tom make the play call. That game could have been Tom's if Tom could have made the whole game, all the game calls. I think.
Yeah.
If you let Tom make all those game calls, it could have been Tom's game. And I think Breeze, just his age showed a little, stress, whatever it was, shaking off the monkey. I don't know what the hell it was, but he just made throws that he shouldn't have made. And then,
isn't there anymore. He doesn't have the arm strength. He doesn't have the zip.
Again, I saw a stat. I think all of Breeze's yards, I don't think he's ever thrown a pass over
25 or 30, something like that.
Yeah, 25 or 30. He's all of his yards are from just quick check down passes, first yards.
Yeah.
First downs. It's been a while since he's thrown a big pass downfield to get him yards for that title. Tom can still sling it. I'm not saying Breeze is bad. I'm just saying, Michael Thomas being, having a
Slam
season.
Sucks. He was awful last night.
Michael Thomas, he had 0 catches. Michael Thomas.
I just think
couple targets, couple drops.
I think
it's terrible.
I went into
Kamara didn't play particularly well either.
I went into this game saying that the Saints would win, in my opinion, if the Saints played their best game, and I think I was wrong watching it because I think that the Saints team that played the Bears is the Saints team that played the Bucs. I think that they just they didn't kick They didn't
I
kick
agree with
ass
that.
like they
Actually,
should
they
have
didn't
the whole
elevate
season.
their level of play. I thought they just sort of played down in a way to the Bears. I mean, they didn't play bad last week or anything, but
No.
they didn't. They weren't very flashy
Another
or anything.
thing,
I thought they'd definitely take it to a new level this week, and
Taysom
they
Hill.
didn't.
Taysom Hill. I mean,
No.
you have a guy that is your literal, like your kick return, your punt return, your fucking QB, your fucking running back, wide receiver, everything under the gun, blocking, tight end. The guy does everything. He does fucking everything.
He's
He
a
goes
Swiss
on
Army knife
defense.
for sure.
He goes everywhere, and not having him on every snap, not having him on every play, not being able to do the tricks that you got in your playbook, I think really hurt, because now you have to go back to Breeze being in the pocket, just 2 pocket QBs, and your whole offense running over that defense is really about being like a KC, having Taysom Hill, having a guy that's so versatile that you can just make plays up with. That's the problem. And I think the better team won here. And again, I told you boys in the last pod, I'm rooting for Tom. And I wasn't going to be surprised if Tom won. It's playoff Tom. But I expected more from both teams here, but I especially expected more from the Saints.
I'm one highlight here. Jameis Winston looked great on that throw.
Oh no, he did.
Jameis Winston looked beautiful. I've been saying it the whole season. I wanted him over Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill's pretty good. I like Taysom Hill. He's a good player.
I agree, but when Breeze went down, that was the perfect opportunity to get it to Winston.
I wanted Jameis in there slinging that thing like he was at Florida State, just eating W's. Like,
well, why couldn't
I want Jameis in there?
Just nice little.
Yeah, eat a W. Also, another thing. I think the biggest part of the game was when Jared Cook fumbled the ball when Antoine Winfield Jr. Punched it out.
Yeah, and on that third interception, it went off Cook. He literally just popped it up for. I mean, Jared Cook kind of threw that game away at the end there for sure.
Yeah, he had a bad game. He must owe some money somewhere. He threw the game. He was bad.
And so I'm glad you mentioned it. Did you have the Saints real quick? Did you have the Saints?
So I had the Bucks. I had the Bucks spread that hit. I'll tell you what I had the whole weekend. I had Green Bay spread hit, Bills spread hit, Bucks spread hit, and then I had the Browns to cover, and they did cover, but I wanted them to win as well. I
wanted the Browns to win, but with the Saints game, again, I'm glad you mentioned it. I totally forgot about Winston's big throw. I think they should have used Winston more under the gun, even a couple trick plays, because he's got an arm. He could have really made it work with some plays. I mean, they have an offense still. Again, Michael Thomas not really doing much. And again, Justin, you brought up a good point. Kamara just not playing the game he should have.
He was doubled a lot. So he was very.
I'm not. I just think when Breeze saw that, he still threw to him. It was behind him. Then that was a couple of interceptions. Kamara just didn't run maybe the right route. I don't know what was going on there, but I think towards the end, you really saw Breeze just trying to get whatever he could to get downfield, and you just saw him just.
It's also not that hard to game plan for the Saints. You know their offense runs through Kamara. If you just put a safety or a cornerback or even a linebacker, like Devin White just walked them down. Devin White's also a very underrated linebacker in the league. He's going to be a star in a couple of years. But it's easy to game plan for the Saints. They run crossing patterns all the time with Sanders and Slant Boy, and then Kamara runs an HB angle, and then Cook runs a little drag. It's not that hard to game plan. And then once in a while, you have Kamara sneak out of the backfield, run a like the interception yesterday when he
ran up and he was going.
Yeah, it's a halfback option route. Him and Breeze just aren't on the same.
He didn't come back. He kept running.
Yeah.
And then the biggest, they don't run any long patterns where you can just get the safety isolated. It also might not be Breeze's fault. He just can't get it there.
Well, we saw with Winston, you totally when you change up your offensive game plan for the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks are a solid defense in my opinion. They when they have to play well, you got a lot of underrated guys there that play well. They do struggle here and there, but the reason that they struggle, and that, again, we'll make our predictions, but I think especially if you're going to get to the Super Bowl, which may be a possibility, and you're going to play against KC or the Bills, two offenses that are really tough and that run a lot of plays and have a big playbook against teams like that, especially I think, Mahomes with, all those just guys just running back and forth. You don't know where they're going to stop. You don't know, like literally they just keep changing up the routes, but on opposite sides and shit like that. And teams like that, I mean, the Bucks got totally tricked out with the Jameis Winston right down the field.
Yeah.
They didn't see it coming. They didn't, the cornerbacks just were caught standing still and just didn't didn't get the right cover zone on that.
Yeah.
And that just at the end of the day is how teams win games. You have to have a bigger playbook. And I think, I should have went with, I didn't even think about the playbook situation here, especially with Thomas and Taysom, but I still felt that the Saints would pull out strong. But again, you forget his playoff Tom. The guy has so much things up his sleeve.
And playoff Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I know.
Lenny, facts.
I am glad that he started getting more snaps and he started really pounding the gun. He really showed up for.
Looked like Ronald Jones was fighting an injury all night. He was like,
but he didn't look bad. He looked all right.
He looked pretty good still. I know he just looked like he was hobbling
good.
all night.
I think the Bucs were smart to keep Fournette in. I mean, you have so many. I mean, you also have McCoy too, right?
He doesn't play. McCoy
yeah, they do, but
I'm just saying. I'm not saying play him, but if you have to keep Ronald healthy, play Fournette. Rotate in with McCoy, keep him even there just as a distraction. They're going
to have to do everything they possibly can against the Packers next week. So, do you want to just get into that? What do you guys think about that matchup?
Let's get right into NFC. Let's get right into
NFC. All right,
let's go right to NFC.
So we'll go around. So Bucs Packers. We'll go around. So we'll start with Silva. Silva, who do you think wins this game?
So after what I saw this weekend, I was going to say this in the last segment, but I truly think the Saints were just outmatched from a personnel standpoint. I think the Bucs defense and offense is just significantly better than the players on the Saints. With that being said, I don't think they're smart enough. I don't think that defense is smart enough or taught enough by Todd Bowles to keep up with the Packers offense. Because the Packers offense, they went up against the best defense in the league last week and just made Jalen Ramsey look bad. Their offensive line stacked, even though they lost the left tackle Bakhtiari. But I think I want to take the Bucs here, but I think the Packers are going to win this game between 3 and 7 points. I don't think it's going to be a 10-point blowout. I think it's going to be a pretty close field goal game or by a touchdown. But I do think Rodgers is going to win here.
Yeah, I'm in a similar headspace as you. I think that the Bucs. I want to say the Bucs. I think that it's Tom Brady, and I know what Tom Brady is capable of. And I think that the Bucs could win. There's no doubt that either team could win. But I think that the Packers, having just this Bucs team, all these guys are just thrown together on the same team, and I feel like the Packers have so much experience playing with each other, and that's going to play a role in this game. Especially, it's going to be in Green Bay. It's just. That's not a team you want to be playing right now if you're Tampa, and that's going to be a really tough match. As you said, they just picked apart one of the best defenses in the league, and now they're going into a Bucs defense, which isn't as good as that defense was. I don't know. I agree. I think Green Bay wins this one. It is going to be a close game, though.
I think the only reason it's going to be a close game is because playoff Tom. I'm going to say it. I think playoff Tom is going to show up. Now, for me, the reason I'm rooting for Tom in this. Yeah, I am a Packers fan second to Patriots, so I'm hoping the Packers win it all. But I hope Tom obviously gets another ring. I love the guy, but just the system he's in with Arians, Todd Bowles, that the defense seems to have great games, and then they seem to just be standing still, playing backyard football. They don't know what to do. I think also the fact that we've seen Tom get pressured, I think the most in his career with his offensive line. He has a good he doesn't have a bad offensive line. The system, Tom is just getting rattled. He's playing, he's acting like a baby. He's getting pissed at his offensive line, his players. And Aaron Rodgers is just sitting pretty off of one of the best defenses. He didn't get touched once, right? He didn't get touched once. And he could still make some of the biggest plays. He could still make some of the biggest plays. I don't think Sue's going to touch him. I don't think any of the linebackers are going to touch him. I think with 3 running backs, 2 in the system, just Williams, Dillon, and just fucking Aaron Jones, I think they're going to run the gun. I think they're going to just come with a system that the Bucs are not going to be prepared for, and I have to take the Packers here. I think it will be close. I don't think it's going to be super close, but I think it will definitely be maybe like a 10-point game. One possession, 10-point game. That's it.
Well, and as much of a GOAT as Tom Brady is, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are as lethal as any quarterback receiver duo has ever been ever now at this moment. Like that. So
the only way that the Bucs can really, one quick thing is the only reason that the Bucs can really win this is if, again, the Packers just don't utilize their offense entirely, and they just, they really struggle like the Saints did on offense. That's really the only way they could lose. in my opinion.
The Packers for me, it's kind of like similar lines to Justin and so the Packers look more in sync. Like I think the Bucs were just better than the Saints, and that's what won them the game. But I don't necessarily think like any chemistry or teamwork was kind of involved in that win. It was more like, let's just see how we can get a touchdown or how we can get a stop. But no one was really working together. They're just better overall than the Saints. With that being said, I think the Packers are more of a better overall team, and they play better together. So I take the Packers in this. I don't think it's by like a hefty margin, touchdown maybe. But I do see the Packers taking this just because it seems like Rodgers has a better relationship with his team right now than Tom does with his. When I see Tom, it looks like he's just like he's running a daycare and he's just trying to tell everybody what to do. Whereas Rodgers is just kind of commanding an offense, and it seems like there's a little more chemistry there. But
for me, it looks like a Pro Bowl offense and just a bunch of random guys straggled together on the defense. They have some good defensive pieces, but it just looks like a Pro Bowl offense that just doesn't, fit sometimes.
It just seems like Tom's working very hard to try to get like a group of guys together that realistically don't have any chemistry. They're just a bunch of really great fucking players.
Another quick thing. I don't think we even mentioned it. Sorry. Last game, Godwin, just not, again, some tough throws, but some of those on the hands just completely missing the pass. I mean, again, it's on both people, Brady throwing and, obviously the receiver. But for me, if it's in the hands of the receiver and you have the ability or the time to pull it in, you should at least be coming down with it. It shouldn't be, especially with Godwin, just such a great receiver. He just didn't. He's been weird this season. He's gotten like 2 touchdowns in a game, or he's gotten no snaps, and he's just
true. All right, well then we can move on to Chiefs Bills.
This
so
one's the toughest one.
I feel like we're all going to be in a similar spot here, where if Mahomes plays.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to prelude with. Let's just say Mahomes. It's Mahomes and Allen matchup. Mahomes is playing. Who do you have, Chiefs or Bills? Let's say Mahomes is playing.
Before we do that, is it possible for Mahomes to even be playing if they've already said he has a concussion?
Saying.
I think that the team could be really fined, or something could go wrong for the team if they play.
I don't know if it's even
concussion.
possible.
It's concussion protocol. You can't break concussion protocol. For anything.
Here's the thing with concussion protocol. If it's it depends on the concussion diagnosis. If it's like, I think it's like it's like a class A, class B type deal. So if it's a class B, I'm pretty sure it's minor. Class A, it's like normal concussion. If it's a minor concussion, I think it's like 2 or 3 days, like can't do anything. Then he has to pass a certain test or something, and then then he can play. But if it's a class A, I think he's out for 10 days automatically.
I feel like that, yeah. So it's definitely possible that he literally, there's nothing he can do about it, and he just can't play.
Let me just say, I don't know, like, again, he had the toe thing. He seemed to play through it pretty well, but once he got knocked, like I saw him like step up on
a weird hit. He didn't even get like leveled.
That's what I was saying. Like, I wasn't really sure.
He got hyperextended. I don't know, because it seemed like they were wrapped around his neck.
It looked weird because it wasn't like a head-to-head collision. It was just kind of like his head got kind of snapped back, and then you didn't really know how bad it was until he
just like passed out. It was really weird.
I honestly don't think it's that bad of a concussion, in my opinion. I think he just, like anything, I think he got dazed because I think.
Well, when he was getting up, he looked real bad. I agree that the hit didn't look bad, but he looked like way out of it.
Yeah, he looked out of it. That's why I think.
But right when he got to the sideline, they said he started walking fine. He looked better. So I think it was
like he was jogging down the tunnel too.
I think he got dazed. I think he got dazed real bad. Like wind knocked out of him, and he just didn't know what was going on for a second. I mean, we've seen that happen before, and guys have just gotten right back up and at it. So I don't think it was that. If it was like a Lamar Jackson type of thing, I would say he was out for the whole game. Like he's out for the next game.
Well, all I know is I'm sure he'd rather it was a broken toe or a finger or something, because he could just play through that with concussion protocol. It's out of his hands, which I'm sure he's.
I will say, if it's a minor one, if it's a minor one, I don't know how I'm going to do this. If you're the team, I think you have to play him early and then just take him in and out for snaps later in the game if you're winning, because you don't. I mean, it's a tough Bills game, but you also, if you win that game and he's out with a worse injury for that Super Bowl, there's no way you're winning.
I think the NFL is going to want him to play regardless. Like, I feel like there's going to be some like behind the scenes like corruption bullshit happening here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have Allen, Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady. That's probably the best
They
quarterbacks
want
we've seen.
Mahomes playing this game.
I can't really see a game where like the Chiefs are gonna play Henny, at least start him. Like, they might take him out or something like that.
There's got to be some special treatment. Like, think if it was LeBron, he's playing. They'll find a way to make it play.
Yeah.
Also, Mahomes, they're gonna shoot him up with morphine or something. Mahomes is gonna get back
fucking
out
NBA
there.
will find a way to forge some paperwork.
Also, let's just be honest.
NFL for Mahomes.
Mahomes is probably the one QB I think will just get right back up and just try and get back out. Like, I mean, he had the broken toe. He got right back out there. He was wincing through a lot of snaps, but he just kept playing. He didn't even make a face later in the game until that.
No doubt. I'm sure he wants to play. It's just with the concussion.
Whether he can or not.
No, I know, but I'm just saying if it's a minor one and and he passes everything, he's playing, even if they advise against him.
All right. So let's say he's playing. Let's say he's playing the game. So who do you have, Bills or Chiefs, if he's playing?
Silva.
Yeah, I'll go first. It's at Kansas City, which is one thing. They can allow. I think they have the most amount of fans they can allow at a playoff game right now. It's allowed there. I really want to take the Bills. I want to take the Bills bad. I love Josh Allen. I love Stephon Diggs. I love their defense. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the defense covering Travis Kelce and covering Tyreek Hill. Because if you look at it, the Patriots
White probably gets Hill. You think, right?
Yeah, probably. Or they'll
You probably double Travis.
So if you look at what the Patriots do to Kansas City, you never see Tyreek Hill have a good game against the Patriots, besides that one time in New England where he had that long catch and that was it for the rest of the game. If they do a safety cornerback double on Tyreek Hill and then they just put like a linebacker on Travis Kelce, I think it could work. But it honestly really comes down to Mahomes. If Mahomes plays and they're at home, I think Kansas City is going to win this game, but this is going to be a dogfight. I want to take the Bills here. Actually, no, fuck it. I'm taking the Bills. I hate Mahomes. I hate his girlfriend. I hate his brother. I hate the whole family.
I hate his girlfriend.
I hate the girlfriend.
I'm with Silva right now. I'm with Silva on everything he said.
I'm taking the Bills here. Bills Mafia. They're going to be jumping through tables. I hate Kansas City. I hate Mahomes. It's not that I hate Mahomes. I just hate what he's doing off the field. He's just a punk. Travis Kelce also a punk. Tyreek Hill pushing his coach in the middle of the game. Bad look.
It seemed like they were sort of joking, but what the hell was that?
No. He was dead serious, and then they said afterwards, the coach talked to him afterwards, and then they were on the same page. But he was pissed before. He was
dead serious.
All right,
let me the Bills by 2 points.
Let me go right after Silva real quick. Let me just go right after Silva real quick because I'm just going to reiterate what he says. And I was waiting to see if he was going to go, and I felt like he was going to go with the Bills after he keeps saying, I want the Bills. Yeah. Look, I think I'm going to say, like I said with the Bucs game, Mahomes, great player. I'm not going to be surprised if KC takes this game. Yeah. Again, it's going to be a dogfight, but I'm going to go with who I want to win here because I think that they could pull it off, and I'm going to go with the underdog, and I'm going to take the Bills. And it's going to be a back-and-forth kind of game. And I think it's going to be the game that we expected the Bucs Saints game to be. Back and forth. I think it's going to be that type of game.
I love the energy. I love the Bills. I like the Bills a lot too. But I can't take them. If Mahomes is playing,
that's fine.
It's going to be a dogfight.
All I need is Silva on this one.
No, it's going to be a dogfight. I completely agree. It's going to be
Josh Allen,
it's going to be such a close game. I don't know if it's 3 or 7. It's going to be a ridiculously close game. It's I can't wait to watch it. But I got to take the Chiefs. Mahomes just has a way of winning games. He doesn't know what losing is. It's not in his vocabulary. I got to take the Chiefs. But if Henny's playing, this is not going to be a close game at all. This is a absolute blowout for the Bills, no doubt about it.
That's another reason why I'm taking the Bills.
Because I don't like if you think last week if it was Henny all game against the Browns, maybe it'd still be close. This is not a situation like that. If the Bills got Henny, the Bills are going to fucking kill them.
Everyone's hyped up Henny. If you look at that interception, he threw a fucking punt. That was a punt.
He threw a lob. He threw an absolute lob, dude.
Yeah.
That was the worst throw I've seen.
He basically was playing catch in the Silva. He was basically playing catch with center field and left field, just tossing it right back.
It was a pop fly. That was a horrific throw, and we've seen Nathan Peterman play in the league.
The guy sat there like this. He sat there. This and took that thing. He cradled it like a baby.
And then there's even worse than that. He tried running it out of the end zone. That's what the Browns were outcoached in that game horribly, but that's no big deal.
At the end of the day here, I think if Mahomes is playing limited snaps, all the snaps.
No, he's not going to play limited snaps. If the doctor's telling him to play, he's playing the whole game.
Well, here's my thing. Even if he's playing all or nothing, I just gotta take the underdogs, the guys that just break tables for a living, the guys that just fucking break bottles.
It could go either way. I just can't bet against Mahomes. But
you're basically right now. It's just fucking Viking horde against a nice little British Tea Party. The Mahomes is just tossing dimes, and Josh Allen is just fucking raiding villages and pillaging shit. And I'm just gonna go with Josh Allen.
In a perfect world, I would love to see Jordan Poyer come off a safety blitz and blindside Mahomes and just knock him out for the rest of the game.
I want Mahomes to get blacked out. I'm going to call it right now. I want Mahomes to get absolutely just wind knocked out of him, just like Cameron Wake and Adama Kasu on that one game way back when, when they were on Miami still, just fucking hitting him, and then he's halfway in the air, and then boom, spleen gone. I want that.
That's what we need this game. But Jerry, what do you got?
I don't know, because I want a Chiefs-Bucks Super Bowl, but considering that the Packers are probably going to beat the Bucks, in my opinion, I'm going to take the Bills in this one, and here's why. I don't think Mahomes lasts the whole game. If Mahomes plays the entire game,
it's a physical game.
I think they win. I think Mahomes, but the Bills are a dangerous team, both offensively and defensively. And I think it's going to be one of those things where Mahomes is going to get popped. And even if he goes in the locker room for a quarter and you let Henny play for a quarter, I think the Bills take that. I think to take advantage of that, and then that's game over by that point. Mahomes can't do anything about that.
I'm gonna say right after. I'm just gonna go with Jerry right here. There's another thing we got to take into account here. You got the toe injury. He still played through the game, but I think we can all agree that even with the toe, some of his passes were off a little bit on the left side. I don't know if you noticed that, Silva, but some of his passes were off. But he still played a great game, but he didn't scramble as much, and he tried to stay in the pocket. And here's the thing, against the Bills defense, if that Bills defense has a spy, if they just keep him locked down like a Lamar situation and they watch him and he comes out trying to scramble even for a couple yards and they pop him once. Listen, another thing we forget is even if you're coming off a concussion and he's cleared, a head injury is still so important to watch. And if he gets popped once, he's out of that game.
Here's my thing
he's out of that game because the injury can get so much worse. We forget that.
Here's my thing on that. He didn't even get popped that hard. Like that, no, didn't even look that bad.
No, it was my whole thing
is Bills are going to come with a lot more force and a lot more pressure, and I also don't think he's going to be as flashy as he would be if he was 100%. Like I feel like if he was 100%, then he would be dodging guys, and he might even run the ball a little bit. But I think he's going to play a very conservative game. Even then, I think he's going to get.
Are you fucking kidding me? He's going to play a conservative game. This is the AFC Championship. He's not playing.
No, he's going to be slinging that thing. He's going to be slinging that thing 85 yards. This is a gunslinger.
No, the tough thing. The tough thing right now with taking. All right, we just got to think right now. This, again, I'm still going with Allen here, but the tough thing with Mahomes, I think the one thing Jerry's trying to say is that if Mahomes is in any way still injured, if he's not playing 100%, if he's somehow trying to keep his energy, if he's somehow trying to make sure he doesn't get popped, then the Bills can take advantage of that. But we also have to remember that the thing that the Bills have to worry about right now is we saw in that last game, the constant movement, just audibles, Mahomes just doing a drop pass here. You don't know if he's doing that. You don't know if Mahomes is scrambling completely. Mahomes looks left, throws right. You have to cover Kelsey, Hartman, and Tyreek. I mean, the problem with that is you double cover one guy. Travis Kelsey is open for 10 yards, and he's gotten 20.
That was the problem with the auto. That was the problem at the end of the game, and what was allowed Henny to get to basically a 4th and inches.
Yeah, he did that.
They loaded the right so that they didn't have anyone on that left side. So Henny just saw.
He just threw a check down, and he just went for the first down.
Yeah. So that's going to be.
And again, I think the real thing here is being out coached. Again, I don't like Andy Reid, but Andy Reid is a guy who has been in a lot of these situations before. The Bills haven't, and in a while, with this team especially, a lot of guys come into their first, AFC Championship. And Andy Reid has been here before. He's played teams like the Pats, who have outsmarted him, just had big playbooks. And I won't be surprised if KC wins, but I'm rooting for Bills, and I think that Bills definitely have a team that could – the only team that could beat KC right now, besides the Packers.
I agree.
I don't think the Bucs, if the Bucs win, could beat the Chiefs, in my opinion.
So, I think in this game you're going to see a total of about 4 runs from the running backs. The running backs are not getting any touches.
Yeah,
this
I
game.
don't think. Yeah.
It's just
let's just be honest. KC doesn't even really run the ball at all. It's play action or it's
their offense is weird. I like their offenses because Mahomes, but if you put any other quarterback in that offense, it doesn't work.
They really rarely run the ball. And the thing with the Bills is the Bills really can't be running the ball. Because we saw Tyrann Mathieu just completely smothering Chubb here and there. And the only reason that the Browns even got some leeway is finally playing Kareem Hunt. That's another thing we forgot to mention. What the hell is wrong with that? I mean, Nick Chubb's dropping passes a couple times, and you don't put Hunt in earlier. I'm a little
The Browns, don't sleep on the Browns. The Browns will be back there next year.
No, I'm not saying they won't. They're a good team. But I think we're on agreement on this. Quick, out of the blue, I forgot about this. But Odell Beckham, I'm just surprised the Browns did so well without him. I think honestly
they're going to trade him. He's going to be gone. He's not going to.
I think he's going to be gone too.
I think he was like a juju for the team, really, in my opinion.
He'll be gone. He'll be on the Patriots. I don't think, or somewhere else. He won't be in Cleveland much longer.
I'd take him. I would certainly.
If we're going to be wrapping up, the quick thing that I wanted to ask Silva, quick question on. Yeah. I mean, we're predicting playoffs, but let's predict for the Pats right now next season, real quick. Do you think Cam, and we'll end with this, do you think Cam's coming back for another season, or do you think the Pats will somehow, I think it's the Jags at the first pick, Jags take Trevor and Jets take Justin, and they give us Sam in return to the Pat? What do you think's going on here? Who do you think we get? Jimmy G?
Right. I got a couple scenarios. So
let's hear it.
So there's the one scenario, Cam comes back for a year. There's that one. The scenario I personally want right now, because we have the 14th pick and I just don't know if we're going to be able to move up to get the quarterback we want, I want Matthew Stafford as a Patriot.
I'm 100% with you. I'm 100% with you.
Kyle Pitts, or maybe we trade up a couple more spots to get a receiver. But I want Matthew Stafford in the Patriots uniform. He is vastly underrated. His arm strength, his arms, just beautiful. I love Matthew Stafford. I think they're going to, realistically, I think they're probably going to draft a quarterback. I just don't know what quarterback they're going to draft.
Let me say, I hope it's not Mac Jones. I really hope it's not.
You just don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if they're going to trade up and get what's the kid's name? Zach Wilson from BYU.
Yeah,
they have him going 4th to the Falcons. You just don't know. This draft's going to be very interesting.
Well, and if the Falcons take a quarterback, I'd happily take Matt Ryan too.
There's that too. I personally, I think I want Matt Stafford, and the Patriots just draft a weapon, and then because Stafford's still kind of he's
30. He's 32. I think he has the most powerful arm in the league, honestly, with power goes.
Yeah, he's not.
No,
he's still relatively young.
Patty Mahomes.
No. I'm not talking about. No, shut up. I'm not talking about depth. I'm talking about year in and year out. The guy just throws bullet passes, just absolutely hitting the money. That's just for me.
I mean, you're right. He's got a great arm, no doubt.
The thing is,
I'm not saying he's better than Mahomes. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm not
saying he's. I'm not saying he said that. I'm saying you said he has the strongest arm in the league.
Yeah, strongest arm, meaning just power throwing that ball, just check down passes. I'm not saying strongest
I'm still gonna say Mahomes.
The thing is with the Pats, if they sign,
because you suck his dick on the side with his brother. That's the
John. Shut up. Go.
Right.
Jesus.
Go.
So here's the thing with the Pats: their quarterback's not their only need. They need a pass rush. They need a weapon on the outside. They need a tight end. They have a lot of needs here. So I really don't know what they're going to do with the draft. I don't know what they're going to do in free agency. Personally, I think realistically, this is a realistic rebuild. They get Stafford for a semi-decent contract. Draft Kyle Pitts or a receiver with the 14th or 15th pick, Jalen Waddle, preferably, or Kyle Pitts.
We need a tight end.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts. The thing is, Kyle Pitts fits the scheme. That's the only thing here. I don't know
if Kyle Pitts falls all the way to us either. I don't know.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know if what happens there, or if they move up. They honestly need to re-sign J.C. Jackson and keep Stephon Gilmore happy, because we all know J.C. Jackson is not a number one corner. Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
No, we need to really keep Gilmore. But
He's a good number 2. He's a good number 2. I like
JC
him.
is a good cornerback who's going to be coming up. He's getting experience. He's a good. I like his
He's
gameplay.
a free agent right now. That's the thing. You need to re-sign
I know.
him. We need like Winovich to just become a stud this year. We also need N'Keal Harry to have a breakout season. If he doesn't have a good season this year, wrap it up, bust, trade him.
I think
Hopefully
so. I
we're
think
getting back Hightower and Chung too.
I think you're in agreement, Silva. We need to make
Hightower
a lot of free agency signings. Number one, we need to and contract extensions. We need to somehow win out with like Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford. I don't really want Cam to come back, but even if we can just sling Cam for an extra season to get maybe a better pick the next season, I don't know. We need to get Cam back at least, but I definitely think we should get like Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford somehow. And we really need Julian to stay healthy, Neil to finally play the game he can, Jacoby Myers to keep playing the way he plays. I mean, the guy's just unreal.
But then we also have this crazy scenario where they move into the top 5 and draft a quarterback. There's that too.
I want Justin Fields. I would be happy with that, but I don't know if Fields falls past the Jets. I mean, it's possible.
I don't think the Jets should draft a quarterback there.
I don't think Sam Darnold is the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe in New York he doesn't fit. Maybe he just needs a change of scenery. It'd help him, no doubt, but I think Sam Darnold still has some potential.
I think once they have a new coach, new system, new whatever they're figuring out before the draft comes, they might just stick with Sam. I mean, I'd be surprised if they let Sam go. I mean, the Eagles are already trying to still stay with Carson at this point, so I would be surprised if the Jets just totally gave up on this kid.
I'd also take Carson Wentz. There's a whole number of guys that are just looking for a change of scenery this year, and that I'd rather probably take a stab at than just re-signing Cam. I liked the chance we took on him, but might as well take a new chance on a new guy like a Wentz or a Stafford or a Ryan or anything like that.
Last question, then we'll wrap up. Is there a scenario that you see the Pats getting Deshaun Watson?
That's I forgot about him. The thing is with that, you also have to think Nick Caserio just went there and got the GM job. So he might owe something to New England right now. But we would have to give up so much for him. We would have to give up the first round pick right now, probably another first round pick within the next 2 or 3 years, a second rounder, a third rounder, something like that. And his contract's fairly big. I would love him here. I could
see him in
church every day for the rest of my life if he comes here.
Facts, dude. That's how I feel.
I just don't see it happening. I
don't want to see us giving up a lot of our veteran players for him. I would rather give up less stuff for like Stafford, just to,
And Stafford's a free agent. We don't even have to give up anything.
Actually, that's true. He is a free agent, so
yeah. I just don't see it happening. It's a good thought to think about, but it's not happening.
Another thing, the whole Patricia situation. Just real quick, I mean, he's out of Detroit now. I'm interested to see if he's still going to try and run it back for a head coaching job, and I think he may. I mean, they got a lot of.
I don't know who's taking a chance on it, to be honest.
We have a lot of head coaching jobs open in the league, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just comes begging on his knees back to Belichick for even a special team.
Belichick's not going to take him back because he brought so many players to Detroit.
So many.
He also took
our whole team.
He brought a ton of the staff. That's why he doesn't really like Flores or anymore, because he brought that whole staff and all the players from New England to Miami.
That's the thing. Miami and Detroit have both taken like all of our players.
Titans have too with Vrabel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Titans have too with Malcolm Butler.
All right, boys. It's been great. Silva, thank you for coming on today. We really appreciate you having
you on.
Love to come back.
We'll definitely have you on again.
Boys, when we get in person, it'll be a lot better. Don't worry.
Boys, it was nice talking to you, and I'll talk to you guys later, I guess.
All right, it's been real, boys.
Peace.
Peace.